This is my everyday carry, and this might look a little bit different from everyone else's everyday carry videos because I want to go over the nuance involved in how I make decisions around what cameras I'm going to use, what lenses I'm going to use, what bag I'm going to use, and how my everyday carry can vary depending on the circumstance that I'm in. So before we get into all this, I have two really quick notes. One is a thank you to our sponsor today, Day One. We're going to talk about them a little bit later on and how they are a huge part of my everyday carry in 2024. And the second is a thank you to everyone who has supported my photo book Memento. I initially printed this project at the end of last year thinking it would be in stock for the entire year, but it is now well over 50% sold out. Thank you to everyone who has picked up a copy, supported the channel, supported the project. It means the world to me, and everything in today's video played a huge part in the production and creation of the photos in this book. Now, the first thing we have to talk about is something that has not changed from previous videos that I've made about this topic, and that is the bag that I use. I use two main bags. One is this Asrv shoulder bag. Now, this is the first example of nuance in an everyday carry for a photographer or a creator. Depending on the situation I'm in, I'll use different bags based on my needs in that moment. So if I'm doing street photography or I'm going out with the family and I want to bring a camera with me, I will use this bag because it's perfect for a small camera with a small lens. Now, the other bag that I use is this bag right here, the Lowepro ProTactic BP 350 AW2. I had to look at the tag to make sure I said that right. I've been using that bag for years now. You can go way back to YouTube videos, I think from 2018, and I was still using that bag. It's fantastic. I have no reason to change it. It's pretty much perfect. And I use that in situations where maybe I want to bring two cameras or I want to bring replacement lenses. I do like that bag because it's not huge. It prevents me from overpacking. I like to bring maybe two lenses and one camera body tops, but if it's too much for that bag, I typically try to not bring it unless it's a big production, and in that case, I'll bring a Pelican case. So now I want to go over the four main cameras that make their way into one of those camera bags based on what my needs are on a particular day. The first camera is the Lumix S5iiX. This is a camera that I added to this system, I want to say like 6 or 7 months ago, and I have no regrets with it. This has been a game changer for us on this YouTube channel. Myself and Alec use this for all the intro sequences as well as all the B-roll on the channel, and I use it for all my Instagram reels. Love the picture quality from this camera. The 4K 10-bit is so easy to color grade, and the only thing we're still kind of figuring out is the autofocus with this camera, but this was a purchase I'm very happy with, and it works with the L-mount lenses that I have for my Leica Sl2, which is the second camera that I use primarily for photo. The Lumix is a dedicated video camera, and this is now a dedicated photo camera. I use this for any situation where I need an interchangeable lens. I can switch out lenses between this and the Lumix S5, and I'm very happy with this system. The Leica images from this camera are incredible. That's why I haven't changed it since I bought it in 2020, and the only reason I would get rid of this or switch away from it is if Leica introduced a Leica Sl2, and even then I'm not really sure if I would just jump right into that. I'm extremely happy with this camera and have no plans to get rid of it. Y'all have seen it a million times on the channel at this point. Now, the two cameras that typically find their way into the smaller bags is my Leica Q2. I use this for everyday stuff. A lot of my Instagram stories are made with this. A lot of photos that y'all will never see of my family are made with this camera, as well as the Fujifilm X-pro3. Now, this camera is interesting because I didn't use it a lot last year, and at the start of this year, I found myself wanting to pick it up more. So I'm thinking of some video ideas and some ways I could possibly incorporate it into this channel, or just bring it to more places with me and hopefully create more photography I'm happy with to share online, especially because I'm doing this daily photo project on my photo Instagram where I'm sharing one photo a day, and I think this camera might find its way into one of those bags much more frequently in 2024. Now, an honorable mention camera is the iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now, being honest, if I'm in a situation where I have any of these cameras available, I'm going to use one of these, but when I find myself in a situation where I don't have those cameras, the image quality of the iPhone 15 Pro Max is absolutely incredible. The photos are stellar, and a lot of times if I'm in a situation where I only have this, I can make something that I'm very happy with. But most of the time I use this camera like everyone else uses iPhone iPhone cameras to make photos of my child. That's what like 50% of my camera roll is. Now, way more important than the camera on the iPhone 15 Pro is the fact that my entire life and all of my ideas are stored in this phone. Anytime I have an idea for a YouTube video or an Instagram reel or just a photo idea, it is written down in this phone. And this process has become much easier in 2024 thanks to today's sponsor, Day One. So in the past, one big part of my essentials was actually a journal and a notebook, but this year in 2024 I've converted all of that to an app on my phone called Day One. Day One is the #1 journaling app on the App Store and provides journalists new and old with a breadth of features to make daily journaling a breeze. So I've talked about this before, but journaling was a huge part of my life for the last couple years, but unfortunately around 2023 that habit sort of fell to the wayside, and it's because I was unable to organize my journals as well as all the idea tracking that I did. You see, in my journal, I would write daily entries and I would write all the YouTube videos that you see as well as all my short form videos for Instagram, and it just became this chaotic mess, and I began focusing solely on writing down my ideas. But at the beginning of this year, I wanted to find a way to organize my journals and get back to doing both more personal entries as well as entries for the business. And Day One allows me to do that by having multiple journals in the app that I can color code. Now, last time I mentioned Day One, I said I was going to journal every day of February. Unfortunately, that has not happened. I had to switch that plan to a weekly gratitude journal. Change doesn't happen overnight, I'm sorry. But what I love about Day One is the fact that they have templates built into the application that make journaling something that can actually stick and become part of your weekly or daily habits. So what I've been doing in February is using one of their gratitude templates to write down at the end of the week all the things I'm grateful for, what I'm looking forward to next week, and the change in my mental health is amazing. All it takes is this quick 5-minute reminder that the sky is not falling and life is actually really great. And the best part is all the ideas you have inside your brain can now be put into an easy to organize interface. So all those different journals, whether it's for fitness, health, daily gratitude, or idea tracking like me, can all be organized in a simple color-coded way. And if you're someone like me who's looking to have an organized way to get all your ideas out, you can try Day One for free by going to day1.com/EvanRamped and use code EvanRamped to unlock 2 months of a free trial of Day One Premium. You can only get this offer to get the trial of Premium here on this YouTube channel. So try it out for yourself. Go to day1.com/EvanRamped and see why it's the #1 journaling app out there, and make sure to use code EvanRamped at checkout. Big thank you to Day One for sponsoring today's video. So now I want to go through all the lenses that are cycling their way through my everyday carry based on what the situation is. Now, the first lens is the video lens that we use for basically all video, and that is a Lumix 24-70 2.8. This is probably the most versatile lens that you can have for photo and video. It works great for 95% of what we do for this YouTube channel and on Instagram. Occasionally we do have to switch to one of these other lenses in a more specialized situation, but for the most part the 24-70 is the main video lens. Now for photo, my go-to lens lately has been this Sigma 24mm 1.4 art. I've had this lens for a little while now, and for whatever reason lately it just has not been leaving my camera. I don't know, just gets the job done. I love the depth of field, love the colors, love the contrast. Everything is great with it. Now, some more specialized lenses that make their way into the bag occasionally when we need them is one, this 14mm f1.4. I'm including this in the video because I want to use this a lot more in 2024. I love this lens. I just have to carve out spaces to where I can create things with it, and it was a lot of money to invest, and being honest, I haven't used it as much as I would like. So this year I want to make sure I use this more and get it in my bag more often, and all these lenses are by Sigma, by the way. Now another lens I want to use more in 2024 that I have been using a lot behind the scenes is this 35 1.2 from Sigma. I use this a lot for YouTube thumbnails as well as stuff that ends up on social media. I also love the fact that you can get so much light into this lens with that 1.2 aperture, so it makes it great for the SL2 when you're out doing night photos. Now two Sigma lenses that find their way into my everyday carry more often is one, this 85 1.4 art, and two, this 45mm 2.8. Now, both of these lenses are primarily used for video. When we are out on a shoot and we're in a certain situation where maybe this 24-70 isn't going to give us what we need, or we're in a low light situation, we will put this 85 on to replace this lens at the 70mm focal length. 72.8 is good, but 85 1.4 is much more versatile. So if we're in a situation where we know we're going to need a lot of bokeh, we usually bring this lens and use it for these YouTube videos. Now, this 45 serves a different purpose. This is much more incognito and it's much lighter. So in situations where we need a little bit of a tighter shot, but we want to use a gimbal, this is the lens that we throw on the camera. Now, something else that's made its way into the everyday carry is this GoPro Hero Black 12. This is the latest GoPro, and it's replacing my DJI action cam. Now, anytime I go out to make photos, I bring some type of action cam with me because I want to record behind the scenes, especially this year. With that second Instagram that I've created that's primarily based on photo, I've been experimenting with behind the scenes reels on there. They're doing extremely well, and with this GoPro, I can record vertical video very easily. It's just built into the camera. I don't have to twist it sideways or do anything crazy, and because of that feature, I decided to pick this up and upgrade from the DJI. It's been a couple years since I made an upgrade to my action cam, and this is one that's very welcome. Now, another piece of my everyday carry that I use every single day is actually a part of this video right now, and that is my 16-inch MacBook Pro that I picked up at the beginning of last year. Last year, I made the decision to make a huge investment into speeding up my workflow by fully loading a MacBook. I got 4 terabytes of memory. I got the highest RAM that I could get. I think I paid close to $7,000 for this laptop, which was a huge investment at the time, but it has paid dividends since I got it. My workflow has been so much faster. It's made my life so much easier, and it's something that I wish I did many years ago. For a long time, I was one of those people who would try to run video in Premiere and it'd take 45 minutes to export a file. Now files export so quick and nothing ever crashes. Premiere never crashes on this computer. I never have any lag, and I haven't had any issues in the year and couple months that I've been using this thing. So this is the most important part of my everyday carry. I use it all day, every day, and it's been an absolutely amazing investment. Now, speaking of things that I use every single day, two other things are: one, a pair of headphones. Right now, I'm using a pair of Beats Studio Bud Plus headphones, I believe is what they're called. They're the cool translucent ones. And the last thing is a watch. Now, I have a bunch of different watches. If you're familiar with the channel, you know watch collecting is something I enjoy. It's honestly kind of an obsession of mine at this point, and you've probably seen some other watches I wear in other videos, but right now I'm wearing the Apple Watch Ultra 1, and the funny thing about this watch is I purchased it right when it came out, and I loved it for a couple months. I used it for all my health tracking, I used it for all my runs, and it was amazing. But then my son was born, and like most new parents, it was an extremely stressful time in my life. My sleep was deprived, I was very stressed, and I hated seeing all the reminders in my health app of this out of control feeling I had. I noticed my average heart rate was just a little bit higher month to month. Nothing crazy, not a health concern, but I just didn't like seeing it. I didn't like seeing that my sleep was so negatively impacted, and I decided to stop charging the watch. So right now it is not charged. I'm just wearing it because it's durable and it feels really weird to not have a watch on my wrist. Maybe I should go get a G-Shock or something like that, but maybe I'm doing this subconsciously as a reminder to myself that, hey, at some point you got to face reality and charge this thing back up and start wearing it. But I'm sure some of the parents out there might be able to relate to that. But there we go. That is my everyday carry for 2024. And as you can see, my everyday carry varies based on what my creative needs are for that particular day. It's not something that is necessarily static. So if you enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up button, leave a comment if there's anything I need to add to this everyday carry, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.